crochet friends, and welcome to G Crochet Off the Hook. I'm G, Geraldine, sharing my love of crochet. Today is Wednesday, it is November, but I forget the date, no worries. And I'm just popping in to let you know where I'm at the minute with regards to crochet, because I feel like I'm a little bit everywhere and nothing is quite planned, so we're going to roll with it. That's going to be the theme for November and December, is just to roll with it. So I'm going to start off with a few of the projects that I did complete in October that I didn't get a chance to share with you all. And the first is a crochet along with the lovely Lynn from Lynn Penguin's Creations, and she did the Great Pumpkin CAL. Now we ended off with a Mickey Mouse pumpkin, and her baseball team was playing in the World Series for them. So I made a blue inspired Mickey Mouse pumpkin, and to go with the pumpkin I also made for Lynn is this cute little baseball bat with this baseball. Now I must say this baseball pattern turned out better than I could have thought, and I actually think it would look great on a keychain, but for now it will just be a little combo set that I have to remind me of the blue Mickey Mouse pumpkin. Now, all of these little goodies, I did make a note. I didn't quite follow the patterns completely, so I'm going to leave a link to the videos. You could do the Mickey Mouse pumpkin on any pumpkin. The ears that I did here, everything was made with acrylic. I used a 2.5mm hook, and I made a circle up to an increase of 36 single crochets. And then for the ears, I did just slip stitch around the 36 single crochets, and I've found that it made them nice and solid. So that was just, I've done ears for many projects, and I never thought to slip stitch around. And doing it on this one, they did stand up really nice for me. Now, as I said, any pumpkin with a Mickey Mouse ears would give you a little Mickey Mouse pumpkin. But I did try a new pumpkin pattern, and sorry guys, the lighting's not perfect. But I used a pumpkin video tutorial by Krafty Kitty for this particular pumpkin. And we really can't, there we go, maybe a little bit, but it did make a very nice ridged pattern on there. That was Krafty Kitty, that was just for the pumpkin. Then for the baseball, I used a tutorial by Autumny Crochet. It's two pieces that you crochet together, two pieces that you crochet, and then you just whip stitch with your stitching color. Very quick make, really easy. I think you could actually upsize this to a nice big pillow size if you used chunky yarn. So that was great. And then the baseball bat pattern came from Gelitcrochet, and I think these are cute little accessories to have with different little toy sets that someone might be making, so I'm sharing that info there with you. Then also during the course of October, I did make a couple other pumpkins, intending to share them with you, but I guess you could have a pumpkin on your Thanksgiving table as well, or save it for next year. So, also made out of acrylic, I made this It's called the Checkered Pumpkin, and there is a video tutorial by Karina Turner, and it gives you this basket look for a pumpkin. And then I just chained a long chain and made a little bow at the top. And I also made a teeny tiny little version of it. This was all just yarn scrap projects that I made. So that's if you're looking for a basket look pumpkin. And then I have here as well, when I was making those chair covers for my daughter and for our chairs as well, I used the star stitch. So as long as you're familiar with the star stitch, or there are plenty of tutorials, I don't think I used one. I didn't use a specific star stitch tutorial. But you can make the star stitch, which isn't really showing up, but you can make a strip of a star stitch, and in the width that you want, draw it up like you do with all your other pumpkins, cinch it in at the bottom at the top, and add a little stem. And this was a random leaf that I just crocheted together, and then you'd have yourself a star stitch pumpkin. And then I also made, and I did not, I don't know if I used a tutorial or not. I have a strange feeling this came from one of the beanies that we had. We did like a cable stitch. Not the recent one that we had, but anyway, I used a cable stitch. Oh dear, there we go. A little bit of a look-see. But I used a cable stitch, made a rectangle. Again, the pumpkin basics is to close the top, close the bottom, cinch it down together. And on this one, I hot glued in a cinnamon stick, and I added a little bit of lace that I had lying around. So maybe a few more ideas of what pumpkins there are to be made for in the future. And one more yarn scrap. This was also using the star stitch, although the pattern is lost on us here. That's all right. And this is quite heavy. I've weighted it down with some washed stones in a stocking. But this was also the star stitch, just made into a rectangle, cinched down, hot glued the cinnamon stick, used some of the yarn itself. It was that really strange yarn that if you stretch it open, it has like a that little webbed look. I can't remember the name, guys. It was a yarn scrap. But I did make this pumpkin. In fact, I think it's heavy enough to be a doorstop. And with a little bit of scrap yarn from this that I had left, I also just made a simple little basket to go with it. So another idea for a table setting, or it is what it is. I made it and it exists at the minute, so I'm letting you know what I got up to there. Moving on then is the corner to corner house square for November, and we have received the graph. It's available on Repeat Craftomy's blog. In fact, all 12, the whole year's house squares are now available for whether you've joined in or for future reference. And November's one is the doghouse with Snoopy on it. This was pretty easy color pickings. I've literally got my little whip basket ready. We have a plain blue, red, black and white, and I am using 100% acrylic, and it's the Owl Yarns Chick and Charity that I'm using. They work out together quite well. And for this project, I'm using a 4.5mm hook. Now, as I said, things are just a little bit here and a little bit there. I did what I said I most probably wouldn't do, but I have no reasons for all the things that I've done. I did go ahead and complete the gingerbread house square, which is actually due for December, but it was one of the squares that was released right at the beginning of the year already, so that there would be no rush in December. So I have finished the gingerbread house. It is complete. There were many ends to weave in again, and they have also been woven in, so I feel that I am a little bit ahead, which is a good feeling. And I know that Sarah did write on her blog that I don't think it will be in November, I think December, beginning of December. But there will be a post to follow where she will sort of give a guideline on how you can join all the squares together and make it into one big blanket. I still haven't decided if that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to see how that looks. Or if I would make, 12 individual little baby blankets. But who knows? Maybe I join all 12 together. But that is completed and out of the way for now. And I have made a few other plushies. I just don't have any of them to show you at the minute. I'm not even sure if I have pictures of them. I did do the Itty Bitty Demi from Just a Mom Crocheting with my Kismet plush velvet yarn. And I don't have those to show you because they are already being used as little trinkets on lunch bags. So, but of course with that, and as I have seen many of us, we've been collecting patterns, and these were just a few of those that I still have. Once I've printed them and put them on this clipboard, I'm hoping it's going to motivate me to get into doing them sooner rather than later. So two patterns from Crochet Confetti is this cute deer wall hanging. I do tend to make wall hangings towards the end of the year, and I haven't made one this year yet. So I'm hoping to make this one. No pressure, no rush though. And also the Crochet Confettis. I think this comes as a 3-pack. It's a little Christmas deer, and there's a snowman, and there's an elf, and it's the elf that I really do want to make, and perhaps custom the wall hanging to look like the elf as well. So that is on the cards for the future. And then I have seen a few of our crochet friends have made Straw Animals Goose, and I actually forgot that I had this one, and when I checked and I had that one, I couldn't help but get myself the frog one as well. And these are the kind of projects I really do enjoy making. I just need to find the time. So hopefully those will be heading onto my hook relatively soon. But no pressure. That's going to be November and December, is just no pressure. And I did also have Just a Mom Crocheting's Winnie the Mini Bunny Snuggler, which I also haven't made yet. But when I was doing the demis, I've only done the itty bitty demis. I know there were 3 in the pack that I bought. I think there's a snuggler and a medium sized one. So I do need to still try and make those. And then this is one of my favorites, which I've had and I still haven't been able to make yet. And I did get this with another project in mind. And this is the gorgeous Magic Mushrooms pattern, which is by Kim from Crafty Chaos Emporium. Can't wait to actually get into a place where I can start crocheting some of my plushies again. But that Magic Mushroom, I'm really wanting to make one to go with and this heads into my progress on my fairy dust mosaic blanket. And that's where the mushrooms were reminding me. I wanted to have some sort of plushie to go with this. So I have completed the leaves, the mushroom houses, the daisy strip, the first one, and I've just started where we are going to do the two fairies that mirror each other. So this is also just a project. I'm not rushing myself to complete it. It will be great if I can have it done for Christmas. It is dedicated to a special little someone who is going to really enjoy this blanket. And any updates on this? Gosh, it's much easier than I could have thought, actually. I think the leaves went super fast. The mushrooms, I think I slowed down a wee bit. I'm finding the pattern very easy to follow. I mean, each row is slow. We're working with back loop single crochets and double crochets. Single crochets are always going to be slower in a project. The only issue I had so far, I did block the blanket gently, slightly, after I did the mushroom houses and before I started the daisy section, because I realized I had a little bit, I don't think you can really see it, but I had a bit of bowing right over here, and I've realized that something, if it comes up, and I think in the fairy section it might, when we did these large sections here, it's many stitches of just back loop single crochet, I think my tension was a little bit tighter. So that's because it's just here where it sort of cinched. It felt like by the time I got to the end of the row, I could see the stitches were pulling a little bit tighter. But so that's something I will be mindful of in the future. But it feels like you're painting with the yarn, following. Oh, that's another thing. I've for one section in the beginning, I followed just the pattern. And then in the mushroom section, I did the pattern and the graph. It's sort of a way to help yourself learn both, how to follow the instructions of a particular designer's written words, and also build confidence in understanding the graphs better, especially for me with mosaic crochet. So I feel confident at the moment, with obviously having completed what I have, to read just the graph, or to not look at what the picture is ahead by seeing it in the graph and only following the written word. So, I mean, we can only learn as we go, and that's one way that I try to understand how and what it is that I'm crocheting. So that's the fairy dust mosaic blanket. And then, of course, the lovely Jill from Gumleaf Crochet and Yarn. She has so many wonderful tutorials for all sorts of stitches. And then she goes and does an amazing thing, like put together a whole pattern for a blanket. And I have never done a triangle blanket. And if you go over to Jill's channel, you will be able to send her an email and request this triangle trails blanket. There's a beautiful story that goes with it as well. And get yourself a copy of the Triangle Trails blanket. Then the awesome thing is always I mean, Jill does all the hard work for us. Thank you so much, Jill. You can then, you know, go about learning something new like I am with putting these triangles together. We're not there yet. But you can go and watch a tutorial on how to do a specific triangle. I was ambitious. I went and watched all four. There's four sizes. It's a large isosceles, a large right angle, the small isosceles, and the small right angle. And then go away and go and do your triangles. And I watched all four, and I had to go back to two just to refresh myself, you know, because you can watch all four, but there's time that goes in between actually making each one. So that's the charm of it, because you can always go and visit Jill again and, you know, like me, sometimes go, oh yes, okay, on this one, you know, we're stopping here and this is how we're building it. Lots and lots of fun and no pressure, learning to put new things together. I keep looking over on the side here because I may not attempt to pick it up, but I have started making each of the triangles. And I don't think you have to block them, but for me to have them out of the way and just, you know, neatly stacked together, everywhere else is also chaos. The other fun part, so Jill's blanket is absolutely stunning, and her color placing and everything just makes sense. But I did want to use up yarn that I've had for quite a while, and I'm not even sure how it's going to look, and I'm rambling. Jill does have a template for you to use, and you can make the blanket however you would like. So I did doodle the one Sunday. It most probably won't make any sense, but I doodled for myself more or less the colors that I had, which is these. And yes, I didn't have another whip basket handy, so I've pegged this all together. The hook size I'm using, these are the strands of yarn that I'm using. And according to my little doodle, I've worked out, you know, I need 10 large isosceles, 4 large right angles, 33 small isosceles, and 6 small right angles, and then so many per each one of what it is that I need to make. So these are the colors that I'm using, and I know it looks very random, but I'm just going to trust that it's going to be my trails that I have leading up to this blanket. So it's these three, and yes, there's even a variegated in it. There's some black, and there's a red. And I'm losing some. So those are all of them. And what I'm using is the Kismet 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. These are big 300 gram balls. There's 750 meters in each one. So I'm pretty sure I'll have enough for all my triangles, and then however I decide to put the border on. So there's something to keep your eye out for. And this may be, oh, there we go, look at that. You see, I'm keeping myself all squared away on this foam pad over here. So that's it for today, folks. Yes, I hope you're having a good week. I hope November's kind to you. This is the time of life. It seems to be getting earlier and earlier every year, where people are feeling exhausted. And I think, gosh, I've met too many in just the last week. We tend to lose, I don't know, just that feeling of perhaps keeping our frustrations to ourselves. So wherever you're going, whether it's a supermarket, whether it's a service person, whether it's your teachers, gosh, I'm thinking of you, my girl. That's my eldest. Even my youngest, there's a lot of pressure to get so many things done towards the end of the year in the workplace. And it never changes. It never changes. But I think we can always get that second chance, third chance, every year a chance of trying to approach these situations differently. And even I fail often at doing that. But perhaps we can learn to be, or just attempt to be kinder to everybody else around us and find a safe place to have those niggles that you've had during the day with your loved ones, and then just console each other and motivate each other, that you end off with a good giggle, couple of jokes at the end of the evening, and wake up refreshed in the morning and give it all your best during the next day. And that's what I wish for all of you. Wherever you are, whatever it is that you need to tackle as we head rushing towards the end of the year, that you just take a chance to cliche, stop, have a coffee, smell the roses, be kind to yourself, and choose a slow-going project where you can just have fun as you need some time out, and be creative. And happy crocheting.